Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at news, headlines from our city, state, our country. We take a look at your comments, ideas, suggestions. We combine all this information, put it to good use as a community of English-speaking locals living here in Puerto Vallarta. Some of you are visiting, some of you are here full-time, some of you are here seasonally. But we all have something in common, I believe. We are here because we want to connect with the friends that join us, and we want to connect with everything that our city has to offer. So if that is something that you can relate to, grab your coffee. Mine is ready. I have some news to share. I have some comments on yesterday's yesterday's spotlight. That's what I'm trying to say. And what else do I have? I have a love letter to you. Yes, I have a love letter to you based on something that happened to me yesterday that reminded me of what an amazing community you are and why it is my pleasure to be part of this community. So yay, we're going to get the good feels, and I can't wait to get to that. But first, some news. Yesterday, during the spotlight, our dear friend Michael Buford, our dear friend and community partner Michael Buford, gave us news of the fact that Puerto Vallarta now has a public animal clinic, and we can confirm that as another good reason to live here in Puerto Vallarta. Mayor Luis Munguia has just inaugurated the first ever public animal clinic in our city. The clinic is located within the animal welfare facilities at the Pitillal River Walkway. I am sure we will hear more about the clinic's services, which already include vaccinations and sterilizations. I tried to find a Facebook page for it, but I couldn't find one just yet. But I did inquire in the official Puerto Vallarta page as to whether we will get more news about this clinic through a dedicated Facebook page. But this is a great resource for pet owners out there. I also want to let you know that Puerto Vallarta's giant catrina is scheduled to be inaugurated today at 6 p.m. That said, I went right by it yesterday as I was heading to the Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork to produce the spotlight. And she didn't quite look ready for prime time. But what do I know? I mean, I'm not working on the catrina, so I have no idea how long it takes to put one up into one piece because it is assembled on the spot. I just hope it's ready for prime time tonight. And for that matter, I also went by San Salvador Street when I was taking the bus back home after the spotlight. And I don't think San Salvador Street is going to be ready for the Day of the Dead parade on November 2nd either. It just doesn't seem to be there. But of course, I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. But if you're planning on watching the parade on Saturday, yes, that's when the parade is going to take place, your best bet is probably going to be somewhere along Cinco de Diciembre close to Parque Hidalgo, or somewhere further south along the Malecón to make sure that you do not miss the parade. With that said, let us move on and look at our weather forecast. Oh, that is just horrible language. My goodness. I'm going to have to do some fracking here. Here, have some fracking, son, you pasty faced fracker. My goodness, our weatherman did not wake up with the right leg or the proper leg, didn't get out of bed with the proper leg. But hey, wow, it is 29 degrees and humidity is down to 54%. I mean, that almost deserves one of these. But just almost. I am watching with delight how the weather is improving day by day. Humidity be gone, but not yet. We're still headed in that direction. Today, we can expect a humid day with clear skies, a high of 33 and a low of 19. Tomorrow, Friday, will be a humid day with clear skies, a high of 32 and a low of 19. And then Saturday, once again, a humid day with clear skies, a high of 31 and a low of 19. Moving right along, I have more things that I wish to share with you, starting with our friend Sharon Gerber, also known as Puerto Vallarta's self-appointed air fryer queen. Sharon has been teaching cooking classes at the Joint Boutique Hotel, I believe longer than I've been doing music appreciation presentations, and she's back with Party of One, make a meal for one using an air fryer. This class will take place, hold on November 16 at 11 o'clock in the morning at the Joint Boutique Hotel. Sharon's classes are very popular and they tend to sell out. So do consider checking out the link that I'm going to share with you in the show notes. And if you're interested in attending, you want to get your tickets ahead of time. I know that Logan and other friends have attended these classes, and I understand they are a blast if you happen to own an air fryer. And of course, yeah, if you don't have an air fryer at home, what are you going to do? And of course, my own contribution to the Joint Boutique Hotel's offering of adult education opportunities will be my next music appreciation presentation, which will be a week from today. And it'll be all about the amazing music by Sergei Rachmaninoff, the Russian composer. So much to say about him. And there was an interesting question by someone that attended the Day of the Dead presentation who asked, is this going to be primarily biographical or primarily music? And my answer to that was, and I just want to make sure that this is what I'm planning on doing, we always talk about the historical context in which a composer produced a certain piece of music, because we know and we do believe that artists, creators in general, are largely influenced by the world that surrounds them. So we will look at some amazing compositions by Sergei Rachmaninoff, and we will connect them with what was going on in his life, his personal life at the time he produced these compositions, what was going on in the world around him that may have prompted him to express those compositions the way he wrote them. And of course, we have music examples, whether it's just audio or preferably video performances of these pieces of music so that we can better immerse ourselves in the works themselves. So that is a little bit of what goes on in my music appreciation presentations. Hopefully you will be there. This is again on November 7th at 5 o'clock at the Joint Boutique Hotel. And of course, yesterday we had the spotlight. And it was great to spend quality time with Monica Pence, who is the president of the PER Project. She's sitting in the back there in this photograph. And then you're looking at Fabian Reyes, who's the founder of the Jardín Mágico Butterfly Sanctuary. And I'd never had the pleasure of meeting either one of them. It was so much fun. I mean, Fabian was awesome. He showed up with caterpillars. He showed up with butterfly cocoons. And it was really, really fascinating to learn more about both organizations and some of their challenges. I was, I was, how do I say this? Um, let's just say that I will never tire of sharing knowledge about how to use Facebook to promote our pursuits. And we've spoken in the past about the difference between posting your news and events in your own Facebook page and posting them in a dedicated Facebook event. Small differences, big differences. And I will not tire of explaining that difference. If this is something that you would like me to explain one more time today, just write the word Facebook by itself in a comment, and I will be so very happy to go there. Um, and without getting into it or waiting for your feedback, rather, I was happy to see that after sharing some knowledge with Fabian, is his name. I got to remember these things. Fabian very quickly went to create a Facebook event for the first ever. Oh my goodness, how do you say polinizadores in English? When bees go from one flower to another, they pollinize. What do they do? Anyhow, this is the very first festival throughout the country, and it'll have a manifestation locally of butterflies and how butterflies help polinizar, which is to bring pollen from one flower to another and help it reproduce. I don't even know what the proper word is, but this is going to happen on the 23rd of November at the Butterfly Sanctuary. What a great opportunity to go check it out. I'm sure that Fabian will be more generous of information as we get closer to the date as to what we can expect. But for starters, I have learned that you can schedule a good visit to the Butterfly Sanctuary in, say, like half a morning, half an afternoon, 2 hours, and you get to this place where you get to see butterflies and you get to see demonstrations. And Fabian was so knowledgeable, and he communicates in both English and Spanish, which is absolutely wonderful. And I am, of course, being a little bit chatty because I want to see if there are pollinate. Thank you. Thank you very much for helping increase my but wait a second. Are they pollinators? Pollinizers? Well, you know what I mean. I will have to find a way to say this in English, but thank you very much for answering the question. Now, I see a couple of people that speak the word Facebook. So, with your permission, let me spend 5 minutes on this. First, explaining why I spent 5 minutes on this when the vast majority of us are not event producers. Well, I explain this because it is us who ultimately want to go out and connect with what's going on out there. So even though we don't benefit directly because we're not putting out the events, well, I am, but most of you are not. So that's why I want to explain this. Now, for those of you that are event organizers or that have Facebook business or nonprofit pages or whatever, here's the big difference. The people that already like your page are your target audience because they already know you and they know who you are. They know what to expect. They're familiar with you or would like to be familiar with you. That's your client base. The people that don't like or haven't liked or are not following your page, they will not find out much about what you're doing when you post something on your Facebook wall because they don't even know you exist. So the basic difference between one and the other is, think about the fact that you've decided to bake Day of the Dead bread for your entire neighborhood, for your entire colonia. The building that you live in if you live in an apartment building, that's your Facebook page. They're going to find out about it because they're going to smell that you're baking. But if you end up baking 250 breads for the entire colonia who doesn't even know that you're baking these breads is not going to find out. So, to look at it in a different way, Facebook events are discoverable by people that don't know you exist. I can do a Facebook search for events as I do every morning, and I find out what is going on beyond my usual scope of companies and Facebook pages that I follow. That's how I find out about some really interesting and unusual events from time to time. Now, when I hear when I talk to someone about Facebook pages and I hear, well, I don't have time to make Facebook events, which are free, by the way, what I am hearing is I don't have time to nurture new audiences. And unfortunately, the same people that don't devote the time to nurture these new audiences are the people that, when the steady audiences go away during certain times of the year, as it happens to some, they are the same people that are wondering, well, where am I going to get money? Where am I going to get revenue? Where am I going to do this? So please think about creating your own Facebook pages as an investment. Yes, it takes time, but once you get the hang of it, it is free. They're discoverable by yours truly. They're discoverable by other media outlets, and they're discoverable by the public at large. So just keep that in mind moving forward. And that's the end of my reminder on Facebook events. Of course, we have the next edition of the Spotlight coming on, and this is, oh my goodness, I forgot to update that graphic. That's supposed to have the next date, which is going to be on November 6th. My bad. But the registration form will be available if you want to join me on the Spotlight for this coming edition. The registration form link will be available on the show notes today. And before we turn over to your comments, I want to praise you. And I want to thank you for creating this wonderful community that is Coffee and Headlines, and for allowing me to steer it as best as I can. And I'm going to tell you why. Yesterday, after the Spotlight, I took my bus back home. I got off one stop before my usual stop. I needed to go pay a visit with my beloved Dr. Simi. So I needed to get some Simi stuff. And on the way home, I happened to walk past, or I knew that I was going to walk past the bakery, the Los Abuelos bakery that we mentioned on Monday. On Monday, I mentioned that Los Abuelos bakery on Francisco Villa, between, well, one block south of where Whiskey Kitchen is located, they are making these adorable miniature Day of the Dead breads at 7 pesos each. And I recommended them because I've eaten their bread before. So I didn't have to go actually and try the Day of the Dead bread itself, knowing that the rest of the goods they bake are delicious. So yesterday I'm getting close to the bakery and I'm like, I need an evening snack. So I'm going to stop by and check out the breads. I got 2 of them. They're about this big and they're absolutely adorable. So I started chatting, as I usually do, with the nice lady, I'm going to call her La Abuela, or the grandmother, that runs the shop. And I forget if she brought it up or I casually mentioned that I have Coffee and Headlines and that we mentioned it. And her eyes just went this big. As it turns out, some of you, I don't know how many of you, but some of you went to the bakery and got some of these miniature Day of the Dead breads. And she had been wondering, well, who are all these English-speaking people and how did they find us and stuff like that? So when I put A and B together and I told her who I was, she was just so thrilled and humbled. She chose to take a photograph with me, and she said to me, my son is going to be so excited because we had no idea who would care about what we're doing. Why am I telling you this? It's not because of me. I can put out information all day, but it's up to you to choose to take the information and put it to good use. It's up to you to show up at the events, at the news, at the bakeries that we mentioned. And when you do, you make people's lives better. And when I find out that this has happened, my life gets better too. So I really want to thank you as a community because you close circles and you complete connections and you make everything better when you do it in a loving, nurturing way. And the only bad news is that I promised myself I would be well behaved and I would eat one of the Day of the Dead breads last night and another one this morning, but that didn't work out. I ended up chewing them both last night, so I couldn't show you one of the Day of the Dead breads. But know that Panaderia Los Abuelos, and you can find out the information on Monday's show notes, is still offering these amazing breads. Thank you very much for giving them a chance. Small bakery, mom and pop. I'm sure there's no interesting ingredients added to them, and they were yummy. With that said, let's see what you're up to today. Okay. Ooh, look at that. Microphone blocking my lovely mouth. Oh my God, did you read about Cynthia Erivo and Wicked? If you didn't, just write the word Wicked and I'll fill you in. Totally unrelated. Good mornings, good afternoons. Thank you very much for all of those. Da, 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 da. Glenn is getting ready to make flight reservations for Puerto Vallarta return. I love it. Brian opened the windows this morning for the first time in way too long. I always keep my window over here open and I get my whoosh of my breeze and the breeze is getting cooler and I just love it. Love it. What else do we have? Oh no. Logan is waiting in line at Costco. I would ask for a purchase, but no, I won't. Because for all I know, you're already out of there. La 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 la. Alan survived surgery. Now the long road to recovery. Hopefully my next trip to Puerto Vallarta, I don't have to hobble on the cobble. Hobble on the cobble. I love it. Alan, best wishes with your recovery. And Brian says, ¿Qué es eso? No entiendo. And I don't know what you're referring to. I wish I did. And I would be happy to answer. Remember, ¿Qué es eso?
¿Qué es eso? No entiendo.
When Gina contributed that phrase. I love it. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Logan comments, we're all super excited about the new public animal clinic, especially the location. Yes, very happy with this new administration so far. I hear you. Yes, I hear you. Ba-dum-bum-bum. La ba-dum-bum-bim-bum-bum. Today's weather is a Halloween miracle. Absolutely. Let's see. Pollinate. Okay, we went through pollinate. Thank you very much for that. Pollinate, not pollinize. Okay. Stephanie asks, is Memo still doing his fabulous taco walks? I would head over to Vallarta101.com, Stephanie, and find the answer to your question. I think he is. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Yesterday's spotlight was terrific. Thank you very much for that, Sherry. I am so excited to go visit the butterfly sanctuary. I really am. Let's see what else we have. Carmen chimes in. Hola, so excited to have many from this great community tomorrow and Saturday for Dia de Muertos dinner at Oculto by El Arrayan. Our chefs will be serving mini Day of the Dead bread in our dessert too. Yes, see, good things happen when we show up, don't they? I love it. My goodness, some of your comments are so cryptic. I love it. Wicked. Oh, okay. Wicked. 3 people want to know about the... Cynthia Erivo is one of the stars of the movie. The original Broadway poster shows a photo of her character, the Green Witch, and her eyes. You cannot see her eyes, and her lips are painted red, which gives a certain reference to the character's mischievous ways and her sensuality, this, that, and the other. For the movie, they showed the actor's photograph, the actual eyes, and so that everybody can recognize her. So an unsuspecting fan went and did a fan version of the movie poster inspired by the original poster, in which you cannot see Cynthia Erivo's eyes or face or anything. And she wrote on social media, well, this is disgusting. I have never seen anything worse than this, because by concealing my eyes, you are concealing me. And this is the most offensive thing I've seen in my life. So if that is the most offensive things that she's seen in her life, she must have led a privileged life. Many people commented. And it must have gotten to the producers of the film, because all of a sudden there's all this bad juju surrounding what is expected to be a fabulous movie. So Cynthia Erivo has had to take back her comments and somewhat apologize. And I think what she said this morning is, I should not have posted that. I should have talked to my friends. And that's as silly as me making a big deal over the fact that for this broadcast, you couldn't even see my juicy lips. And me saying, well, what's the point of you being here if you cannot even see my juicy lips? So that's the end of that. Thank you for asking. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for visiting Los Abuelos Bakery. Thank you for going to Oculto's dinners. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. Thank you for engaging here. Thank you for engaging with the city, with one another. That's what makes you awesome. And that's how you make Puerto Vallarta awesome. And of course, your thumbs up, your forwards, your subscriptions, your follows don't hurt at all. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you again tomorrow morning.